All right, good afternoon. Um, this is definitely February because I have heard the word lovely so many times from our friends in economic times that I'm having that feeling of butterflies already. Let's get started. I know it's kind of a graveyard shift. People are longing to move to homeward and things like that. But what I want to do today is leave you with very tangibles in your hand that should stick with you when you walk out from here. And these tangibles will be about data streaming and how the GCCs benefit from it. Basically, everybody benefits from it, but GCC is no exception. Okay? So I ran a word cloud very quickly about the GCCs. What are GCCs about? And this is what the word cloud comes up with, right? So these are all these relevant words that you run your business on and the value proposition that you have for your corporates. And we will touch on these aspects when we discuss ahead. Now, it will be a cliche if I have to overstate the importance of data, right? You all know it. Today, the data is the business and the technology is the business. Technology fuels from data and real time is everything. Imagine you book an Uber car and that gives you an update after 5 minutes, you have lost your patience. Or you make a digital payment and that debit transaction takes about 10 minutes to come, you have lost your patience. So real-time data or fast data beats slow data any day, right? Now, we are building up the case for fast data and data equals dollars. So here's what Gartner says. Data allows you to do internal as well as external collaborations and thereby the monetization. Okay? Now you move gradually from internal to external monetization of your data. Monetization can vary from the tangibles to intangibles. It can vary. Sometimes it can mean hard dollars, sometimes it can mean goodwill, sometimes it can mean better presence in the market, so on and so forth. But do keep this in the mind that if you have to collaborate with partners, internal, external, your collaboration is with data. Okay? Now, as data multiplied, so did the complexity. And it's very important to see that you have two estates in an enterprise. There's an operational state, which basically is about running your business. There is an analytical space, which is about building your business. So when you operate and you get patterns out of that operation, then you have to feed back those patterns into the operations again to do better. Now, you see the spaghetti out here, and you would be familiar with the spaghetti, right? Very, very real every day. And this spaghetti may be the architecture on which your teams may be building on. Very real. Maybe, maybe not. But let's be honest. Suppose they indeed are. Then you're looking at a huge set of silos on which they are burning their time, energy on. And this is what has to be stopped. Okay? Now let's look at some nuances of data strategy. Business leaders, thought leaders, functional leaders out here, you would be getting into the nuances of data strategy sometime here and there. In my view, this is what data strategy fundamentals might look like. And at the center of it all is data as a product. What does data as a product mean? And what does real time mean? So, in our view, from Confluent and the original authors of Kafka, you might know, the de facto standard of data streaming. Real-time data means that if you are able to shift left, or if you are able to bring the data ingestion, data processing, governance, sharing, using as close to the produce time as possible, then you are doing real-time data. If you are not doing that, then you are doing batch processing. And batch processing has existed forever. You would agree so. Now, in this case, when you're working with real-time data, also comes into a point, data as a product. Now, data as a product basically is a nuanced thinking of having curation of data into actionable knowledge and having a discoverable, context-based, availability-based, sharing-based access to that information. We will talk more on data as a product. So, look at the case in front of us, multi-industry, okay? You have information, disparate information about customers, accounts, web logins, transactions. If you are able to bring context to it, you can do fraud identification. Similarly, if you are able to have disparate information about vehicle telemetry, drivers, customers, repair, inventory, but you bring it together, you are doing delivery management, and so on and so forth, industry agnostic. This is exactly where the value of data as a product accentuates. So Harvard Business Review study says that if you are able to increase access to this data product, then you are able to have a better go-to-market and a revenue impact. A study by Gartner says that for any Fortune 1000 company, if the data access is improved by 10%, only 10%, then that adds $65 million to the income. That's significant number. You have the data, you just have accentuated the access to that data. How do we do that? We'll have a look in a bit. There are endless use cases. You could come from manufacturing, pharma, healthcare, life sciences, automotive, retail, aviation, agriculture, XYZ. But then the kind of use cases data can fulfill is just humongous. And that can be very prudent if you are able to operate out of a central data pipeline in which all your producers write data and all your consumers read from, and the data is real time. You don't have to rely upon 24-hour-old data, 24-minute-old data. You get last second's data. How about that? It is possible. We discussed slightly into the two operational states of operations and analytics, and there are multiple point tools available in each. You look at if these tools are familiar to you. You look at if you have used them in the past, present, or you intend to use them in the future. These are all point tools. And the way you can alleviate the problem of point tools, because point tools on their own bring point problems. The way you can eliminate those point problems is if you bring harmony into them. Again, I'm talking about some challenges technically, functionally, architecturally that come with systems of records, systems of inferences, systems of analytics, where you face data loss, where you face latency, where you face loss of context. The way to work with that is to bring harmony into your data real estate, and that is through our data streaming platform. So what I'm not saying is you eliminate your whole raft of tools that you're using today, because I'm talking about protection of your investment in technology. What I'm saying is you put those pearls into a garland, and that garland is data streaming platform. And this becomes possible because Confluent alone is able to unify the holy trinity of three main industry standards, one being Kafka, that you know of. Second is Flink, which is the de facto standard of stream processing now. The third is Apache Iceberg, which basically is a technology that lets Kafka topics show data to Snowflake and Databricks in a table format immediately. And of course, there is stream governance to put it all together. That's the data quality that you look at. This is the holy trinity. We bring it together for you at an enterprise scale and support. And this is important for you to keep in mind when you are shaping your data strategy properly. Conventional pipelines, data pipelines, fragmented, slow, point-tooled, isolated, siloed. You have seen these. Extract, transform, load, and maybe now extract, load, and then transform, right? Now, what's a better way of doing it? This is the reference architecture of 2025 and going ahead. Feel free to take a photo and use it in conversations in your companies. This reference architecture breaks silos, brings in the nuances of real-time data streaming, and lets you realize more bang for your buck of the investment in technology that you make. So what you are seeing is any type of technology to bring your data in, any technology, hold me on the record. Any pace of bringing data in, any type of data being brought in, bring it into the data streaming platform, govern it, impose data contract, do data processing, fuse, merge, hide, whatever you want to do with your data, and then sync it out into systems that you like. Those systems could be analytics, those systems could be machine learning to do AI, those systems could be back to the operational landscape, which is reverse ETL. Have you heard of reverse ETL? Reverse ETL is basically your ability to funnel the information back to the operational systems, your databases. Because the analytics has to be able to feed back to the operations. You should be able to know what offers are being taken more, and then you have to change your operations for more reach. Let's come to the context of shift left. Now, shift left came from the world of application delivery management, but it is also true for data management. So, shift left is if you are able to, going back to the fundamentals of real-time data, if you are able to move, extract, transform, and load more towards the produce side, then you're saving money. So we have a large customer. I mean, there's a multinational, multi-billion-dollar tobacco company, and that tobacco company was using a lot of Snowflake. Now, we love Snowflake. We love Databricks. In fact, we announced a partnership with Databricks very recently. And that tobacco company, basis our guidance, they just moved out one component from Snowflake out, and that was data governance. And just that one move saved them $2 million in the first year. Because data governance is our forte and we do it very affordably, but that exact work is very compute heavy for a data lake, and that charges you dollars. So you bring silver, bronze data into a data lake, let the data lake convert that into gold, rest entire offloading is to data streaming platform. That saves money, right? A lot of transform jobs can be taken on to us, and that saves you data quality, that saves you rework, that saves you broken pipelines, that saves you war rooms. Finally, AI. So we talked about ops, apps, some cyber resilience, because that's also the augmentation that we do. AI as well. It's almost a cliche now that there is no AI without data, and we go on to say that there is also no AI without slow data and untrustworthy data. So the data streaming platform brings you completely trustworthy data in real time, because AI that gives you a response basis old data is a bad response. So OpenAI is Confluent's customer. And OpenAI's ChatGPT models use Confluent's data streaming platform layer to give you that prompt response in the quality that you expect. All right? Finally, some credence to the claims. So highly rated by the industry veterans and the research companies, and consistent leader into the Forrester waves. And of course, very soon there's a Gartner MQ coming up as well. No surprise where we will be found. This is the thought leadership I'm talking about. This is the ability to execute that I'm talking about. And this is the thought gravitas that we bring to the table. Today, my objective is not to pitch Confluent. My objective is to leave you with reference architectures and thought leadership, which will let you go and have productive, challenging conversations with your teams, because you have to go and challenge conventional wisdom. If you just do that, my day is made. February, Valentine's Day included. All right. A quick snapshot of the customers that we serve. GCCs are across the industry portfolio, across the industry cross-section. This is a small snapshot of the customers whose love we get constantly. They're across different types of industry types like financial services, digital native, consumer, retail, healthcare, communications, media, automotive, manufacturing. I can go on. But the idea is to give you a glimpse of how wide cross-section play that we have. And who said that data is just limited to technology companies? Well, every company is a technology company. Data is a horizontal, and data streaming serves everybody without fail. All right? So I will leave you with this thought. Bang on my time that I was allowed. And we got a lot of love and attention from you, by the way, who does not like attention. But we got a lot of attention from you at our booth. extremely conversations and very fruitful conversations that we had with you all. We are still at our booth. Any questions, feel free and come and meet us. Thank you very much. Has been a pleasure.